Thank you, Simon. I'd like to welcome our guest this Tuesday morning, Louis Woodhill. Thanks for taking the time, Louis.
Good to be with you.
Listen, we have a real lack of productivity. We're 6.5 years into ZIRP. The Fed has, of course, discontinued quantitative easing, and we see an unemployment rate getting closer and closer to 5%. How do we reconcile all that, Louis, and why isn't the economy doing better? And is Fed policy a problem, or is it just it's the wrong medicine? Your thoughts?
The Fed policy isn't just a problem, it's the problem right now. The Fed has let the value of the dollar rise when it should have kept it stable. The real unemployment rate last month went up from 9.8% to 9.9% adjusted for labor force participation.
All right. Well, let's just stick real quickly with the labor force. And, you know, when the administration talks about how many millions of jobs it's created, I can go back through the numbers, and it's accurate. But what about the part-timers? How do we incorporate that in, and what does it mean? Is it because the economy has been recalibrated to a 30-hour work week based on Obamacare? What's the issue there?
Well, we have a lot more people working part-time than we used to. That's why I use full-time equivalent workers to track things. In the last 7.5 years, 16.9 million people have joined the labor force, and only less than 1 million of them have found jobs.
Wow, unreal. Okay, if you were king for a day, how would you normalize rates, given, you know, I'm assuming that you believe rates need to be normalized, but after what you said about the Fed being the problem, I would think you would go along with normalization, even if it isn't directly just raising rates.
Well, we don't need normalization. We don't need normal rates. We need market rates. The Fed shouldn't be messing with interest rates at all. They should be using their monetary tools to stabilize the CRB index and let the markets set the interest rates.
When it comes to the dollar, obviously we're going a different direction than the rest of the world, even if it's only on QE. How can we do this and keep a foot on the dollar? How do you reconcile those parts?
If you stabilize the CRB index, you stabilize the dollar as well. Both the dollar and the euro have gotten more valuable relative to commodity prices since June. It's just the dollar's been up 46% and the euro's only up 12%, so the dollar's up against the euro.
Well, in the final 20 seconds, sir, interest on reserves, how would you deal with that moving forward?
Phase it out. As long as the Fed pays interest on reserves, they lose all control of nominal GDP and therefore lose all ability to do their basic job. Get rid of it.
Excellent. Louis, I like your nice, short, easy to understand answers. It's a pleasure. Thank you again. Carl, back to you.
Rick Santelli. Rick, thanks so much. A new episode of CNBC's Secret Lives of the Super Rich premieres tonight, and Robert Frank is here to tell us about some major VIP hotel guests. Morning, Robert.
Good morning, Carl. Well, they are among the most pampered hotel guests in the country. They're picked up by chauffeur, brought to their VIP suites, treated to spa services, and even given pedicures. We should say podicures because they are all dogs. Check it out. In Hollywood and New York, luxury hotels send chauffeured supercars to pick up their guests. We can only tell you their first names. In the yellow Lamborghini Murcielago is Baxter. Inside the Bentley GT, Lilo. And in New York City, rolling in a low-key Mercedes SUV is Bane. These super rich passengers aren't CEOs or Hollywood superstars. They are pampered pooches on their way to D-Pet Hotels. Hey, boy. This is where dogs of the super rich come to stay and play. Now, guys, rooms at the D-Pet Hotel cost $200 a night. Now, one of the regulars is Bane. He's an English bulldog who had his birthday party there recently, and he has 11,000 Instagram followers. Sarah?
I think there is actually an Instagram for rich dogs. I think it was profiled in the New York Post a little while ago. Very, very hot on Instagram. Thank you. It looks great.
Thank you, guys.
Robert Frank. And we'll be sure to tune in to Secret Lives of the Super Rich, 10 p.m. on CNBC. Up next, the CEO of El Pollo Loco joins us live at Post 9 for a first on CNBC interview. The stock is up 30% just this year. So what does he see for the future? We'll be right back.